All right, this is the copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. And this video is not for any monetary gain. It is explicitly for the reasons stipulated in the Copyright Act of 1976 under Section 107.
That's right. So Kyren Lacy's attorney says that he looked at every piece of evidence, including surveillance video, body cam footage, and the investigative report by the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. During that interview shared with us by Homa TV, the attorney says reports between the District Attorney's Office and State Police do not add up. During a recent interview on Homa TV, former LSU football star Kyren Lacy's attorney, Matt Ory, says data and surveillance video shows Lacy was more than 70 yards away from a collision on State Highway 20 in Lafourche Parish that killed 78-year-old Herman Hall in December of 2024.
At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact.
Following that wreck, Lacy was accused of being at fault for the crash and turned himself in to state police in January on counts of negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. At the time of his arrest, Louisiana State Police stated that Lacy, who was driving a green Dodge Charger, illegally passed multiple vehicles, causing a vehicle traveling in the opposite direction to avoid Lacy by swerving and crashing head-on into the vehicle that Herman Hall was a passenger in. Ory says Lacy was too far away to have any effect on the crash.
Kyren Lacy did in fact pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall.
In a statement sent to WWL Friday night, Louisiana State Police said in response to the Homa TV interview in part, investigative findings revealed that Mr. Lacy's reckless driving while approaching oncoming traffic led to the events of the crash.
The very last line of the report from the District Attorney's Office says, the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyren Lacy should have known that his actions were the cause of the crash that happened approximately 72 yards in front of him.
Ory suggests a state trooper was trying to influence one witness on how to describe the crash. But during that exchange, the witness involved in the crash can be heard blaming another driver who is not Lacy before the state trooper redirects the conversation to Lacy's Charger.
That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me.
So, but the Charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So, yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important.
Lacy, one of LSU's top wide receivers set to enter this year's NFL draft, took his own life with a self-inflicted gunshot wound in April.
To this day, formal charges were never accepted by the district attorney. This is over. There's no criminal proceeding.
Done.
This is about making a promise to a kid who begged you to help him. In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a Charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, like, you know, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that Charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that Charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And that's how it is.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the gold truck.
This is the gold truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is gold truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused.
All right, Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone. We're here to give all glory and honor and praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash.
Double honors to our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like it to the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. We're yet again with another installment of our camp series called For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob. And today we'll be dealing with a more recent history, this situation with Kyren Lacy. The article comes from the U.S. Sun. As you can see, the topic is a new video from car accident. Kyren Lacy was accused of before death proves innocence. And yeah, you know, these corrupt officers, held on. You'll see who it is at the beginning of the video. Pointed the guy who the officer is, Edomite, of course, in Alabama. And this is just what we deal with, especially still in the South, even though it's all over the U.S. on how they accuse Jacob things. But before we get into it, we have our opening scripture, which is Obadiah 1 and 10.
This is Obadiah verse 10. It says, For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Yeah, because, when you go to the beginning of this chapter, it's talking about concerning Edom. So when the Lord says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, we understand that the Lord is speaking directly to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. See, and that violence goes into what? Ultimately, persecution that this devil has executed upon the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans throughout history. We always talk about slavery, what he did unto us then, and hey, that violence still goes on to today, man. Cops pulling Jake over, shooting him dead in the streets, man. Esau still calling Jake these proverbs and bywords, niggers, coons, wetbacks, this, that, and the third, man. You see, and that we understand the times that we're coming into being a time of Jacob's trouble, that violence is about to be heightened, and which ultimately Esau, he's going to have to pay for that too. Because even though the Lord, he's going to judge the wicked of his people, right, through you, hey, the Lord going to turn around and judge you for everything that you've done to the whole nation.
Precept.
You see?
Yep. This is the book of Amos, chapter 1, verse 11. Thus said Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
So the Lord said he's not going to turn away the punishment. So you could come up with all the technology you can, right? Try to do everything you can to put off the judgment that the Lord is going to bring upon you, but you can't do it because it's written, man. You see? And the Heavenly Father said, Lord, that there is none that can deliver out of my hand. You see? So if the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, has purpose to execute judgment upon you, and he said he's not going to turn away that punishment, then guess what, man? You're going to have to swallow that shit, man, and just take it.
Because he did pursue his brother with the sword.
Since he did pursue his brother with the sword, who was Esau's brother? Jacob. Right, when you go back to the book of Genesis 27, all right, Esau said, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Right, and we know the blessing given unto him was the sword. Right, Isaac told him, by thy sword shalt thou live. You see? And hey, man, this dude, he don't bear the sword in vain, like the book of Romans 13 goes into, man. All right, and that sword is directed at who? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man, you Israelites. You see?
And did cast off all pity.
And did cast off all pity. That's why the scriptures say, somebody grab James 2:13 real quick. See, because when it comes to you Israelites, man, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, this devil, he doesn't have an ounce of pity, mercy, no kind of remorse. See, I remember the brother Kaya, he went into it. I think he found a study when it comes to the Edomites, how when they look at something that happens to their people versus when it happened to Jake, when it happens to Jake, it's like a blank screen in their mind, like they don't feel nothing. See, going to show you that Esau has absolutely no pity towards your Israelites. You got it?
Yep. This is the book of James, chapter 2, verse 13, and it reads, "For he shall have judgment without mercy, that hath showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment."
Yeah, because Esau, Edom, so-called white man, had refused to show mercy upon the Lord's people. What's going to happen? He's not going to receive any mercy. Which is why when you read further down to Obadiah, it says that there should be none remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it.
Hey, recently a video surfaced on the internet. I know you brothers probably seen it. I think you mentioned it the other day, where a judge was so used to sentencing Jake, the jury deliberated him a not guilty plea. I mean, a not guilty verdict, and the judge was so used to, sentencing Jake. He tried to sentence him. He said, "Yeah, so guilty." He said, "Bailiff." He basically called for them to come get the dude, and it was like everybody had to stand up and say, "Wait a minute." They said not guilty. He said, "Oh, like." But he said, you see, and what's his name? That comedian. There used to be. Man, I can see his face in my head.
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney said, "You have the complexion for the protection.
Yep.
You got the complexion for the protection, man. Like like this dude was evidently he wasn't guilty, which you're gonna get into it. But what did it lead to? It led to him taking his life because he was getting under so much threat and duress that the young man took his life.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Not a precept.
We'll finish this off real quick.
James 1:13.
Yeah, this is Amos 1, verse 11. Toward the end, he says, "And did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever."
Which perpetually means what? Everlasting. And we understand that this ultimately goes back to the time of Eve and the serpent, or when the Lord said he would put enmity between the woman's seed and the seed of the serpent, which today, through the process of reincarnation, that would be who? The Israelites and the Edomites, man. You see, and ultimately that enmity is still here today. See, why do you think, when you go to, when Jake go to Edomite inhabited neighborhoods, right, and you give him a little smirk, "Hey, how you doing?" And Esau just look at you all weird, like what the fuck is this nigga doing around here? Because whether they know it or not, right, that perpetual hatred is still here to this day.
Yep.
See, that's why, online, right, Esau is bold in their racism against Jake.
Yep.
And there was a point in time where, Esau held it back, but now, with Trump in office, Elon Musk taking over Twitter and things of that nature, these Edomites, man, they're really bold and showing forth their hatred against Jake. You see?
Yep.
And the Lord, he's writing down all this shit, man. See, all y'all sins done reach to the heavens. So the Lord, he's got everything in remembrance, and when that judgment hits, man, it's going to be justified, man.
Real quick, perpetual, it says never ending or changing, occurring repeatedly, so frequent as to seem endless or uninterrupted.
Yeah.
So it's going to only be by Yahweh Shai that he's going to have to take them down, because he said if they continue to rule, Yahweh Shai said, with no flesh shall be saved. And of course the main flesh would be so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. He's mad about that birthright.
Yep.
And like he said, the days of mourning my father have ended. And now he says, then I will, roughly paraphrasing, will slay my brother Jacob. And so he's been in that ever since he's came into rule. I tell you, the earth's been given to the hand of the wicked, and now that he's been in rulership, he's done nothing but been a pest, toward a terror, actually, toward the children of Israel. And everything that happens, he seems to transfer that energy onto what the elders have been bringing out too, that project. I think Elder Makeba has been doing that projection. Calling us, criminals and things like that. When everything that you projected on us is really you.
Ooh. Precept for that.
Okay.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 15. And it reads, "The man that is accustomed to opprobrious words will never be reformed all the days of his life." And that word opprobrious means to bring shame or disgrace. That's what he continually does to us. We just seen that in real time. You had one of their own snuff out Captain Kirk, and who did they accuse? Jake. Same thing with this article we're about to read. They wanted Jake to just go down for it, and he wasn't even responsible.
Right. Well, let me bring this out. This last part is just to go back to your point, because you said that he's going to pay for the things. He's using Edom, to do. He is the sword. But then, verse 12, he says, "But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra." So pretty much eventually, it tells us even in Obadiah, those that are, like the top elites, everything from your wisdom and knowledge, he's going to tear down and show that you've been found to be liars. We all know that your technology and things that you receive, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We know that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has used you on the left-hand side and has given you this wisdom to pretty much do his work. We go into Romans, I believe, is it 12 or 13? 13. You are a minister unto him for those who are doing evil. So we're just sitting back and we're waiting and we're seeing these things happen. But as we see it happen, we know that things like this are coming out about this young man. That you're still showing that perpetually, even in what people would say, this is 2025. When you would think that these things would be, but yet the prophets are letting you know it could be 3025, and he's going to be the same.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, we're reading what First Ezra now. Come to find out that not find out we always knew, but it's different now because since we see what's going on here, they're the ones who burnt down our temple. So anything that was going to benefit Jake to make Jake self-sustaining, first began with our temple. They found a way to destroy
that which is then is now. They burnt up the temples. They was tearing up our books and things like that. Now you fast forward modern day time, maybe 100 years ago, or 1990. 1919. Blood Summer. Or you see that many of these communities that Jake had built. Rosewood is one that's very that's popular. They made a movie about Tulsa, Oklahoma. These communities were burnt down and taken, and now you got lakes over many of these places.
Eagle Creek right here.
So even most recent times. So again, you go back as far as what you read. We're reading in Ezra, right? All the way down, even going into like Haman. What he was trying to do. So this is just their spirit. And it's the truth.
We would never really let go. They never really let us go, man. We don't know what freedom is. We don't know what it is to be treated fairly as a nation of people. And all of that wickedness that came from Edom having us in slavery, and all of that wickedness that he put upon us, it trickled down onto our people, man. A lot of our people are suffering right now because they became like their oppressor. But in this instance, man, it's an instance where evidently it wasn't fair. If you had evidence, why are you threatening this man? Why are you fucking with this man or telling him that he can do time if you have the evidence? And then fucking, you know, years later after the man is gone, then oh well we're gonna put the information out there. Well, how long this man been?
It was supposed to happen at the end of 2024.
Yeah,
And, he killed. We'll get into it. He killed himself. Or he was found dead before the going to the grand jury.
Yeah.
So I guess
So like
everything was pointing. He just knew they were going to put him away.
But even still, to your point, that's how it's been with when we've been doing the violence against our brother Jacobs. They'll find a man directly to your point. They'll find a Jake. They falsely accused him. They hung him up, string him up, or whatever. You know, put bullets in him, and then later on, 100 years later, they then say, "Oh, well, you know, we're gonna put a plaque up for his memorial or some type of statue." And you know, and we exonerated him, and he was actually found to be innocent.
God.
So so to your point, that is what they do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know? you have the information. You conduct an investigation, and you have clear proof that the man is not guilty. The man could be easily exonerated, but it takes all this time. You building up a case telling this dude that he could do time and all that, fucking with his mind, and you already have the evidence that he was not guilty. Mm-hmm. This evidence. They didn't just go, oh well, hey, let's go run back to the store and check the cameras. They knew that. Mm-hmm. They knew that he was innocent. Just like in many cases, you know. Another case, Reuben Hurricane Carter, the boxer. You know, Isaac Wright. Mm-hmm. You know, the New York Four. What was it? The New York Four?
Oh yeah. What is it?
They came out with a series.
Central Park 5.
Yeah, I said New York 4.
No, it's not good.
Central Park 5, bro.
God.
And like, you know, just fuck Jake's lies up over and over again, bro.
And to your point, that name itself, Central Park 5. Before that, it was Seneca Village. Mm. Okay, a wealthy Jake neighborhood that they destroyed to make Central Park. Mm-hmm. No recompense, just came in and started bulldozing.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep, Seneca Village.
And a lot of them, going back to the point the elder mentioned, they went through some horrific, when you look at the story and then see, they went through some horrific things in jail, mentally, you know, physically, and then they come out and then you exonerate them later on.
Yeah.
You know, and the one in which is in rulership, you know, who's the pharaoh of today, you know, Trump, he actually put money, you know, millions of dollars for ads and different things, and he never went back, because that's the whole thing about the leadership, as the rulers are, they don't take accountability. Mm-hmm. Never went back to apologize, to even say they were wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I know it's about, you know, we're going off to another
a full-page ad.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of things that Elder mentioned. You know, they had the evidence, but just rushed to judgment. This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 7. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Mm-hmm. Understand first, then rebuke.
Yeah, and when it's a Jake, these so-called detectives do rinky-dink investigation work, you know, and it's say you're innocent until proven guilty, right?
Right.
You know, so they had this evidence, and they was about to convict this man just to fuck his life up, because he was a promising star at Louisiana State in playing football. Mm-hmm. You know, he was good at it. Mm-hmm. You know, but they ruined this man's life.
Yep.
You know, and another thing, man, talented Jake. This is talented Jake. Our people that have talent, whether they running, playing football, basketball, boxing, you know, entertainers. They're you know, they use Hollywood to really fuck over these people's minds, man.
Yep.
Maybe it was a mercy from Yahweh Shem Yahushua that he was taken out. Who knows? I mean, he took himself out. Who knows? But our people, they get these devils. They get over on our people's talent. Our people are good at things, you know, and then, you know, this devil, they'll be in the skybox, you know, watching Jake singing, run nigga run, the paddock will catch you. Fucking in the skybox singing, you know, nigga all kind of race. Yeah, look at my niggers down there. You know, I was watching that movie Him last night. There's a lot of demonic scenes in that movie, but that movie shows you a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be about Cam Newton. That movie, you seen that movie Him yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, I was watching it yesterday, man. Like, the shit that they put our people through, man. The shit that they put Jake through, man. And then they use, in a lot of cases, they use other Jakes to do it. You know? Like this dude, Diddy, he's a goddamn demon when it comes to business. Doing business with Jake. That dude is the devil, man. You know, he's always he's fucked over Jake his whole career. You know? Yeah. And then what I'm not even talking about what happened with some women. I'm talking about who he is, man.
Yep.
Getting Jake to sign slave contracts, going in the hood, getting poor Jake, and getting him to profit these damn devils, man, and make music for them to where hey man, like this whole industry, this whole like this American dream, this bullshit, or where you can make it in America, that's all bullshit, man. They're gonna use you until you dry up and die. You know, a lot of those football, they showed you in that movie, the dude had a fucking head injury. You know, it's like the dude had a head injury, right? They told him, well, do you want to play or do you not? They was telling him, like, I mean, they were saying, look, yeah, I don't think he's ready to play, but they put so much pressure on him to where they made him play. He was in practice with stitches in his head, you know, and I know that they do shit like that, and then they give Jake all this fucking pain meds, and you know, to bind the pain, and until Jake is all fucking broken up, man. You know, all broken up, man. Like, so you know, like the Lord probably had mercy and took him, man, because he was about to go into an even worse area. Yeah. Like that world of football, like professional football, is wickedness, man. Yeah. You know.
I know he got a precept, but Warren Sapp, just to your point, he said he retired. I think it was Warren Sapp. He was like, he retired, and then he was like 5 years after retirement, like he, you know, maybe got into the Hall of Fame or something like that. He said, but about 5 years after your retirement, they cut off your insurance. Yeah. He was like, he said they should be continuously paying for these men's their insurance. He said, but it gets cut off after 5 years. He said, so now think about it. You done took 65 snaps a year. Or like, I forget how many, the total number, but he was like, over your course of your career, you done took all these snaps, and you pretty much are colliding and bumping and bumping. Yeah. Now you have insurance after retirement. Now you're that much older in age. After 5 years, now you got all these ailments you're dealing with. He said, who's going to take you in now?
Yeah.
You know, so just to your point, it's like they pay for it, and right after 5 years, they cut you off.
One of those elements, the big one, CTE. And they came up with a study and said that, you know, it was normal for us to get it, but they was caring for the white athletes.
Yeah.
Awful. Yeah. Then I had a.
Yeah. You just gonna go into the story?
Yeah.
Just backing up the point Elder D-Mash made about how, you know, they have all the evidence proving Jake is innocent, but still try to throw a book at them. This is Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 4. It says, therefore the law is slack, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. You see, and in this case, who was the wicked? Esau, even the so-called white man. And when he goes into that working past, it means to circle roundabout or close. You see, so Esau is always doing shit, right, to keep Jake in the jail, to keep Jake in a low state, right? Pretty much, 24/7 persecuting Jake, right? It says, therefore, wrong judgment proceeded. So these devils, man, they don't even judge righteously, man. You see, the way they cast forth judgment and make decisions is solely based off of the hatred that they have towards you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You see?
A couple of things you said, Elder. This is you talking about Diddy and how he's used against our people. This is Proverbs 17:15. It says, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So he was working along with those individuals to, mess Jake up. And like I said, the Lord says that both are an abomination to him. But what is that? A filthy, wicked act. All right. Anytime you look up abomination in other scriptures, it's related to death. You're supposed to be put to death for an abomination. All right.
Yeah. Hey, they put all this, they force all these rituals and witchcraft on Jake, young, unsuspecting Jake, that don't know what the fuck be going on. They showed a lot in that movie, him, bro. Now Jake should check that movie out. The Elder Bishop, INOP sent me he sent me the trailer to that movie, and then he said it's a pretty good watch. There's some information in that movie. And they just showed you how they fucking exploit our people, man. You in some type of training camp somewhere, they take your phones, then they put you through all kind of fucked up. Hey man, like all of that Greek shit, like those hazing. Football has the same thing as that Greek shit, hazing, bro. They play all kind of fucked up jokes on you, Hey, I mean, like, it's all kind of wickedness, man. Like, that movie showed you, man. And, hey, you standing up there naked, and you got some dude with a measuring tape measuring you while you standing there with your boss Johnson out. Like, that shit is fucking wicked, man.
That's how they used to do the slaves.
Hell yeah.
Sell them. You brought that point back to this second precept. This is Sirach 13:4. Says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. That's pretty straightforward. Verse 5, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it.
Yeah, and that brother Kyren Lacy, man, like, he with the Lord now. He ain't got to worry no more. The Lord allowed that situation to happen because it could have been because he was going to end up in the league. Bro.
Yeah.
He was good. He was gonna end up in the league, but in the league they would have took more advantage of him.
Yep.
And like anybody that committed and consider and commit suicide is already dealing with a lot of mental toil.
Yep.
If you even thinking about, if that's even a thought of your mind, because there's other people that were ready to fight until the end. Like the story of Isaac Wright, but he probably was already going through enough mental toil.
Yeah.
But the Lord probably took him to keep him out of that world because that world of entertainment is wicked, man. It's wicked. They exploit Jake. They use our people for our talents, man. And Jake is just talented, bro. But once you get in this system, you got to be exposed to all this shit to like. Destroy, like like these rituals and shit to destroy you. It's like to make you really pretty much sell your soul, man. That's what they want. It showed you like they want ownership. This dude, the Wayans brother,
Marlon Wayans. Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, Marlon Wayans. Hey, he. He's a good actor, man. Like, he showed, like, some of his acting skill, but he really showed, like, how crazy that world can get, bro. They showed how crazy that world can get in that movie, man. So Jake just want to play ball, man. And then you got to go and get pushed into all of these fucking rituals and bullshit and contracts, like, man, that shit, man. So the Lord probably took that young Jake life to preserve him from that shit. Who knows? You know? But the shit was still wicked. The man took his life because he knew he was innocent. But he knew that the system was stacked against him.
Yep.
And he knew that they could take his life from him. And you know what? He probably had refused to do some shit. They probably had stepped to him.
Yeah, you know, I had that thought too.
They probably stepped to him and he probably, nah, I'm not with that.
So
Oh, you're not with that? Because remember, I mean, no, y'all said that y'all didn't see it. In that movie, when he refused, when Cam, I don't know if it's based on Cam Newton or not, but in that movie, when the dude Cam, when he was refusing to do shit, they was like, you know, they was like mad. It was like why don't you just do it? Like, but he started wising up, like, man, like, I ain't finna be doing all this shit, you know. But yeah, man, so they probably stepped to him, started trying to do some of those rituals, that satanic shit that they was doing, man. You know, and now we doing this lesson. Brothers got to watch that movie, man.
Yeah.
You know, that satanic shit, and he probably refused that shit, and they probably took him out, had him taken out. You know, or it probably was a shaming ritual they was trying to do. Yeah, lock the nigga up. Block him up, and then make it to where we the only ones that can get him out.
Yeah, they break him, and then he, you know, then he goes, all right.
They do a lot of rappers like that, you know. So just start following them. You know, they send some type of informant in his life. Yeah, man, hey, you want these guns? You know, we get crazy out here. And then the next thing you know, some dude, he got caught with some fucking guns and get a felony case, go in and out of jail. Hey, T.I. went through a lot of that shit. The rapper T.I. was in and out of jail, you know, or catching gun case charges and all kind of shit, you know. So that world is evil, man. The Lord probably had mercy on that dude, but this is still wicked because, you know, it was evident that the dude wasn't wrong. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, just to your point, Isaiah 57:1, and it says, "The righteous perisheth, and no man layeth to heart, and merciful men are taken away, none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come."
Yeah, man. So yeah,
even though, you know, he wasn't, you know, probably wasn't in the truth, you know, he took his life, and we'll get into that. But at the end of the day, he's still of the righteous seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sorry, man. Like, it's just shit is frustrating, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
because as we seeing, nothing is changing.
Yeah.
And we see it for what it is and who's doing it.
Yeah.
All right. This is the article. We'll put a link to this article in the description box and comment section of the video. It says a new video from car accident Kyren Lacy was accused of before death proves innocence. It says Kyren Lacy died at age 24 in a suspected suicide in April. It says he was found dead in his car in Houston, Texas, just hours before he was due to appear in front of a grand jury. Lacy was accused of causing a crash which killed a 78-year-old man. He was also accused of fleeing the scene with charges of negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. And, you know, once Jake, you know, when I say Jake specifically, gets a felony, he's done. However, you have someone in the head office right now with 34 of them convicted, and he's leading the country. This goes to show how hypocritical this place is.
Yep.
All right. But a new video has since emerged of the road collision, and that's the video you saw at the beginning of this lesson. All right. He says, and his attorney, Matthew Ory, claims it proves his innocence. Ory gave a long interview on HTV 10 this week. He said, "We know from data that Kyren Lacy did in fact pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel 92.3 yards back in his lane behind Mr. Hall. That's almost a whole football field. All right. He says at the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. So that's roughly 20 yards. You know, that's he could have been going that fast. All right, at that point. He says, key word behind the vehicles. That it is not how this story was painted. Never. The crash Lacy was accused of being involved in happened in December 2024. So that was just less than a year ago. All right. Said Lacy was a rising football star and expected to be picked in the 2025 draft. He played 3 seasons with LSU and scored 9 touchdowns in his final season. Says LSU has truly made a big impact on my life and on and off the field these past 3 years. He posted on Instagram in January. It says playing in Death Valley for the best fans in the country was an experience I will never forget. Not too many people get to fulfill a dream like this. This is Lacy and his coaches and trainers before rounding off the post. With that being said, I will be declaring for the 2025 NFL draft. So that was January. So he was that was what just 3 months prior.
Yeah.
You know, mind you, when I was doing the research on this, not only this is LSU, he was dating a very somewhat attractive Edomite woman, so-called white woman. So you know they don't like that in the South. All right. It says Lacy's dad, Kenny, posted on social media, his life has been changed forever.
And how we know that, was it Jack Johnson?
Yeah.
So for him, for brother to make that statement, we know that they don't like that.
Yep.
Though we're seeing it a lot more and more now. You know, they are enraged by that.
Yep.
You know, because again, I think it was Apostle Barnes said you could tell, you know, a nation when you look at their women.
Yep.
You know, you can tell, like, you know, how they're doing, if they're doing well or they actually falling.
Yep.
And a lot of their women are cleaving on to Jake,
Yeah.
so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian man, and probably even some of the other nations as well.
God.
But you see it a lot as far as our men being put into the forefront with these very, very highly attractive looking women. And the brothers are posting videos every time, you know, just showing that, you know, they're like, here's another video of snippets of women like, hey, I want the black man, I prefer the black man, you know, a video. And so, of course, that in itself is showing that, you know, like, just the point that you made, Jack Johnson, they created an actual law where he went over line, you know, state lines, and the law was created, and he actually was charged for like sex trafficking or trafficking of a, I forget how it was called exactly, but it was some form of child. You can look up his story and you'll see, and he went to jail. You know, but they couldn't get him, you know, any other way outside of that. He was famous. He was beating down all these other so-called white boxers and everybody, and then he was going home with money and then women. You know, and they set that law against him.
And what really enraged them about that, you know, we don't want to get too far. He beat the crap out of this Edomite to the point where he wasn't going to knock him out. He just kept beating him and beating him and beating him and beating him, and to the point where the police made them stop that fight and cut off the cameras.
Wow.
Yeah, go look at that story. They made them cut off the cameras and made them stop the fight, and then there was what did it say? It was some arrogant statement about you know, the white, pretty much saying that the black man will never be better than the white man. Well, they were proven wrong. Dead wrong on that particular day. But yeah, that's what fueled that. They had to get him on something because he legally whooped that dude to death, almost to death, in that ring, and they stopped the cameras. The police stopped the camera, not the referee. The police did.
Yep. So we're seeing that in sports. We're seeing it through all the bread and circus, throughout all entertainment. That's a pattern that we're noticing that happens.
Yeah.
You know, you go down the line, you know, and a lot of them be involved. Like you said, we got Diddy.
Yep.
You got Chris Brown. You got Michael Jackson. You know, Prince. like everybody's like these allegations, Bill Cosby, you know, they get into that industry and then these allegations and certain things come. Not to say that they're innocent, but we just noticed that there's a pattern that comes along with it. Dave Chappelle, you know, at one point was asked to put on a dress and to do some things and whatnot, and eventually he started making a lot of money with the Chappelle show, and before you know it, he actually, you know, had to flee and went to Africa. And they made claims that he was on crack, you know, because he comes back talking about it. You know?
Well, he said by the time you get back, we're gonna make you look like you crazy.
Yeah.
And then when you go back and watch that interview he did with Oprah, her body language told the whole story. Like, you better be quiet. You better be quiet. Shut up. But how they got him? This is what they did. He said, I don't even own my name anymore.
Right.
He said when the Chappelle show exceeded what it was supposed to do, they used that to say, well, you actually voided the contract.
Right. Yeah. Even I think it was like Magruder. I can't think of his name. The writer.
Magruder.
Yeah, for the Boondocks.
Yeah.
Like the show was I'll say immaculate. It was a really good show, and then the moment they like got him off there, you know, it was like, and he wasn't no longer like head writer or producer. It was like you seen it just go down.
Yep.
You know, so they put their hands on things, and you could just see. Never mind.
Yeah. What was the guy? They cut his show off. What's his name? He looked like the kid that played Everybody Hates Chris.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Carmichael?
No, he's talking about slave. He was actually talking to the slaves, but in regular clothes, but giving some real history. And they cut it. What's his name?
You talking about the guy that played in Everybody Hates Chris?
No, he looks like him. He looks like him. But anyway, it was this show where he was on the ship talking to the slaves. Elder Malcolm talks about it all the time. He plays that clip too. But it like uncovered a lot of history, and they're like, no, we can't deal with that. And he was fired on the spot. Yeah. All right. This is the rest of the article coming to the end here. He says, our lives have been changed forever, and this will never be okay. But God needed my baby more than he was needed here, he said.
Hey, that's what Elder
He just said. Yeah, just what he just said. He says, this has to be the biggest pill our families have had to swallow, but I know the love and compassion in our families will get us through. This will never get easier, but we will learn to live with it. Man.
Yeah, man. But you know, like, man, that's why the Lord, man, that's why we pray for the Lord to deliver us soon, man. You know, because we stuck in this system, and we don't have no say over our own lives in this system.
Right.
Even if you're not directly attached to the things that are oppressing you, you're still oppressed.
Precept.
You know, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28. I'll start at verse 15 and jump down. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. See, so mostly the reason why we're stuck in this system, we're in the position that we're in, is because of our disobedience against the Lord Yahweh. Right? When we jump down to verse 68, it says, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. It speaks to spiritual Egypt, as spoken of in Revelation the 11th chapter, which we understand that Egypt is symbolic for the house of our bondage. You can read that in Exodus 20. And fast forward to today, what's the main house of bondage for the Israelites? The land of America. Which also, when you go into the Hebrew, for the word Egypt, it goes to the Hebrew word matzah warrior, meaning what? Double straights. So here in America, this is the most bitter captivity, right? The most harsh captivity that we have been through as a people.
That's what America actually means.
Yeah.
Bitter.
And you know, like a huge part of that bondage now is a psychological bondage.
Yep.
The bondage of your mind, the prison of your mind, man. You know, like another good movie to watch is that movie what is it? Unbreakable? No, not Unbreakable. The movie with Samuel L. Jackson. He was in the wheelchair. And they had him locked up with
I'm thinking Mr. Glass or something.
Yeah, Glass.
Yeah.
No, not. What was it? Was it Glass?
Samuel L. Jackson. Was that the same guy that played Professor X? Super strong or something
Samuel
like
L.
that?
Jackson.
Yeah, no.
Samuel L. Jackson. That's
No, it's the guy that played Professor X in the Marvel. He's a movie with him. I think Samuel
Oh,
Jackson in the wheelchair.
Yeah, was it Glass?
That's James McAvoy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, was it this right here?
Yeah, that
Glass.
movie Glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, those men had that spiritual power, but they had to believe in themselves. That power diminished when they were psychologically attacked. That power diminished when the woman told them, "You ain't nobody. You ain't got no power. We got the power. You know, you're just a regular man." And their abilities began to fade because they didn't believe in themselves. But the Jake, they couldn't break his mind. He had that strong will. The dude Glass, Samuel L. Jackson, he had a strong will, and that's how we got to fight back in the society, by taking our will back, our mental power. You know, and another thing, directing that mental power towards this truth, man. Directing that power towards this truth, man. It illuminates you, like the scriptures say. It illuminates you. It's like plugging a instrument that worked well, but it's not gonna plug. It's not gonna work unless you plug it up. You know, that's what we gotta stay plugged into this truth, man. You know, because this truth is what powers us. It's what protects us. It's what keeps us going. You know, people that don't have that power, they get taken. They get taken by this world, man. You know, that plug ain't working. Hey, you plugged in. You looking. You know, you ever had a plug where the bottom plug worked, but the top don't?
Yeah. No.
You plug it. Wait, I just had something plugged in the other day.
I got one like that.
Plug, and you look over at the plug, and the plug ain't working. You turn it on and off switch.
Yeah.
It's plugged in. You plug it. You go walk over there. You plug it all the way in. You go back to the switch. You turn it. You got to have a power source. You got to have the power source, and the power source is the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and the knowledge of these scriptures. That's the power source, man. You know. Then people are plugged into false power sources, and they wondering why their life is destroyed, man. You know, but
I also say that's Isaiah 26:3. That will keep him in perfect peace as long as your mind is stayed on thee.
Yeah, man.
You gotta stay as long as your mind is stayed on thee.
Yep.
That's constant. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't say take no breaks. It's constant. All right. I have a precept too.
Yeah, and then you got one.
No, it's more than Deuteronomy 28.
Oh, Slocky, go ahead and finish that first.
Yep, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, back from the top. It says, "And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again." It being what? Our holy land. And we're not going to see it ultimately until the Lord redeems us. It says, "And there you should be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen," in other words, slaves. And here's the point. "And no man shall buy you." That's the point I wanted to bring out, because what the elder Demashpai said, what we're stuck in the system. Well, it says that no man shall buy you. We go into that word buy. It goes to the Hebrew kunah, meaning what? To redeem.
Yep.
Okay. So ultimately, there's nothing we can do of our own efforts. There's no man upon the planet Earth that's going to be responsible for taking us out of the system that we're in bondage to. That task is solely committed to our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, which also he said that when he comes back to meet Esau, even the so-called white man, he's not going to meet him as a man. Why? Because he's coming back in all his angelic power and all his glory, man, and that new body, man. You see, with the angels right along with him. You see, so this takedown that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to bring upon Babylon the Great, aka America, it's going to be noised abroad, man. And this salvation that the Lord brings unto us here in America, like it tells us in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, and I believe also the 23rd chapter, this one's going to far outshine the deliverance that the Lord brought unto us in ancient Egypt. And that's still talked about to this day.
Yep.
You see? So just imagine how much more when the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai destroys this place, man, and it comes back with the chariots. And you see all these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans getting beamed up into the heavens, man. You know, that's going to be talked about forever, man. You know.
Yep.
That's it, though. Man.
Yeah, I got a scripture. This is Isaiah 62:6, and that's why this job is so important, man. And you know, like it's only important to you that can get it. To those that can't get it, you know, like they're gonna be lost, bro. They're not gonna have no understanding of why nothing is going on. You know, you could, you know, be here today. You know, you kiss your wife, or you kiss your husband, and they leave and get in a fatal car accident and never come back home. You know, but or like, you know, like it's like I was headed somewhere, but I kind of lost my train of thought because I want to get to this scripture. But you know, like the Lord gave you His men, put His men to do this work, so you can have understanding, so you can have understanding of what's going on in the world to protect yourself from the world, man. But eventually, when the elect get to the point where the Lord feels like they're strengthened enough to survive these times that we're coming in, or they're built up enough to where the Spirit is going to get them through these times, then and all hell break loose, man. Either you on the Lord's side or you not. And people want to procrastinate and take their time and, you know, act like, well, believe that they have time, and this thing is near and near at the door. But the Lord is going to deliver us with a mighty salvation. Hey, the brother was saying how the deliverance is going to be noise abroad. Hey, the scriptures call it the strangeness of our salvation, because it's going to be like nothing the world has ever seen before. You know, and you're starting to see it in these telescopes. Hey, they had a huge fleet of chariots.
Yes.
Hundreds of them.
Yes.
Coming towards Earth, bro. Hundreds of chariots. And they had one ship. The side of the ship blotted out the whole sun. One side of the ship. As it flew past, it was on Dabu 7. They released a video of the chariot. The sun is this big. The chariot flew past only like one. You didn't even see the front or the back of it. You just saw the edge of it. It blotted out the sun when it flew past. You know? I'm gonna find that video. It's on Dabu 7. They recently released it like maybe a week or two back.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Man, so these people,
Is his YouTube channel?
Yeah, on
Yeah,
Dabu
okay.
7. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna try to put it in the group.
Okay.
This is Isaiah 62. And I think I put it in the chat too, but that was a while.
It was in there, yeah.
Isaiah 62:6 is that I have set watching up on our walls of Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silent. So it's important that we continue on in this work, man, because we're building up the elect. We're building up the men that are under us that haven't been through enough situations to where their faith can grow as ours have. But a lot of our stories and the things that we say and the things that we see are going to be testimonies unto them that are weaken the faith. You know, to strengthen them that believe. It says, verse 7, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. It says, and the Lord hath sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thine enemies. The Lord ain't going to put us back into this type of slavery no more. Once he raises us up, you know, hey, that's it.
That's it.
Once the Lord, you can only suffer so much in this life until the suffering is over. And eventually this suffering is going to be, we was put under this cruel Lord because of our wickedness.
Yep.
But now you got the men of the Lord calling on the name, vexed because of this place.
Yep.
And the Lord is hearing us, man. And the Lord is speeding things up. So, you know, we're hastening the day. We're not trying to make time. You know? We got, time is short. It says, surely I will no longer give thy corn to meat for thine enemies, and thy sons and the sons of the strangers, and the sons of strangers shall not drink thy wine, for the which thou hast labored. It says, but they that have gathered it shall eat it, Praise the Lord. And they which have brought it together shall drink it in my courts, in the courts of my holiness. So, you know, we doing this work for a reward. We are waiting for a reward, man. And you know, that reward is going to be only given to the elect. You know, hey, you know, we was put in this position because of our sins, but the Lord raising us out of this position now. But the thing is, hey, he only dealing with his elect, man.
God.
You know, so and then another thing, the Lord can give you this truth and take it away, man. If you don't feel like you know, you putting what you're getting out of it. I mean, this is the thing, you get what you put in. So like, you get what you put in. You know, if you want your gifts or your blessings to be increased, or you want, you know, your spirit to be increased, you got to put in the work for it.
God.
You know, and then you got to do the things that the Lord asks you to do, man. Hey, it's a lot of people out there that may listen to us and have a lot of this knowledge, but they don't act on the knowledge.
God.
You know, and it's only a short period of time before you can act on this knowledge, before some type of judgment come down on you, man.
God.
Who's to say if that man didn't hear the truth? Who's to say if he wasn't? Hey, it's a lot of brothers in sports that watch us. Who's to say if that man didn't hear one of these videos and denied it, and the Lord took his life?
God.
So like, you have this knowledge, you have this truth, you have that fire in your spirit, man. Don't delay it, man. Do the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and the Lord will protect you. We clearly seeing in the times that we're coming in that we need protection. You know, we need protection. Look, this man got we in that time of madman sparing none. Yep. The police in Chicago got maced by these madmen sparing none. They didn't spare the police. So we in that time. You know? So, you know, like, yeah, we came to America, we got our asses kicked over here, but now salvation is coming, man. And these more and more instances like this are gonna happen. I thought this happened at least a year ago. More and more instances like this are gonna keep happening, and to make people see that we need the Lord to deliver us. We don't have no power in our hands. Ain't nothing gonna be followed up behind this. Ain't no investigation gonna be done. Who had this information and didn't release it?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna go to trial for this and have their life all scattered across the news. Yeah, this police officer held back pertinent information that could have turned this man's case, or could have, you know, gotten him a, you know, better trial. Or these police officers threatened this man, you know, and they had the evidence that he wasn't guilty.
Yeah.
You know, like, in a righteous society, you would see the evidence that the man didn't have nothing to do with it, and you would say, you know what, we ain't gonna drag you through this process of going to court. You free.
Yeah.
In a righteous kingdom. But in a wicked kingdom, they see a man that's talented, and you say he got a white girlfriend, you know, and she probably love him more than he love you devils. You school shooters. You grocery store shooters.
Don't come in tomorrow.
Yeah, man. You know. Hey, you said something. That Jake shot some people up in Mississippi. You said it was to put his face in the news.
Yeah.
Was that you that put
Yeah.
They quick to put Jake up in the news, man. But it's okay.
And they said, and the thing about that is, they was like suspected. Like, it wasn't even like they really like was questioning him, but they put his face up there.
Well, to going back to that Sirach 11, whole truth. Yeah, you might read that again. Salaki.
This is Sirach 11. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 7.
Did you have more?
Did
you have more?
No.
Okay. Sirach, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 7. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
Yeah, because like you just said, with that Jake that quote-unquote did the shooting, they were suspecting it, which means they weren't fully persuaded.
Right.
But they put his face up anyway.
Yeah.
That's not propaganda.
Because they said there were multiple suspects that they had in mind and may have done it, but they had one And then the guy's like, this just in. This is the guy who we have like, yeah. So they just put his face up there. But any time that you see, again, we're talking about patterns. Anytime there's been a shooting of a magnitude, like even with the CK, you know, they had images and all this information, and they held on it. It was like either sometimes it'd be a day, 2 days, 2.5 days, you know, before they even tell you, okay, this is who we got. You know, but that with all the camera footage and all the stuff that's going on, we know that they can find and get information so much quicker than they have, just like with this guy here. You know, they already knew because they showed the video. Then they also, the cop, you know, was showing the video of him actually coercing the guy, and the guy actually told him like, nah, I wasn't going fast at all, and he pretty much signed off on there saying refused. So it came out that the guy never even, like, he was like, yeah, we're gonna just say that he was going fast, and we're gonna put all the information, you just gotta sign it. And he was like, he put refuse, he didn't even put his signature on there.
Right.
You know,
so something else, man. That's part of the clip. I'll put that in.
Yep. You got. I'm sorry. You had more what you were saying.
That should have triggered an investigation. Go ahead.
Because what you were saying earlier, it slipped in my mind. Yeah, how they just go ahead and just throw Jake face up. That goes back into the point you made about how Esau's projected earlier on in this lesson. Because they know within themselves, like, they're known for notoriously being school shooters. So they want to go ahead and take the heat off them and push it on who quick? Jake.
Projection.
You see that projection.
Yep.
And we just heard recently they started I forgot who actually brought it out, but they said recently, like within the last couple years, maybe they started coupling in the whole mass, anything over 4, you know.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, okay.
That was me. What they do when they say mass shootings, see what they did to they making Jake the face of that. So let's say you have shootings in Chicago.
Yeah.
If it's more than 4, they'll call it a mass shooting. But those shootings are by multiple individuals.
Right.
So they collect them together.
Right.
When Esau does it, it's one Edomite killing, at least 10 to 12. So what they do is try to collectively put Jake on that same level of domestic tea. So that's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, when those shootings happen in like Chicago, they all over the city. When Esau does, he does it in one spot.
That's why it tells it in Job how it's his tokens. His tokens.
Know his signs.
You buy his signs. You see it. That's why you keep hearing us in these violence against my brother Jacob. We say in pattern. There's a pattern. Like he's got signs, the things the Lord has told us. Like this is how he is, and he's not going to change. He's not going to divert from that. He's the left hand side of the Lord. So the Lord is told what he had done nothing, but he revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophets. And so we just are laying it out like, yeah, he's when there's a shooting or something like that happened, they're gonna quickly put Jake face up there. When they can then, because again, we talked about last week, fugitive. He's a fugitive vagabond, so he's always trying to hide himself and somehow get himself out of the whole point of being the what they call it the villain victim. He's like, oh, he's the villain, but he's trying to get himself out of the villain side and make himself the victim.
Or the accuser. He wants to hide the things that he do and accuse everybody else. When it comes to his when you check out a lot of these FBI crime statistics and go on the FBI website, it'll show you that they commit more crime, way more crime than Jake. And the crime that Jake commit is against other Jakes. The crime that they commit is against everybody.
Yep.
It's against everybody. Jake, white people, Asian people, Hispanics,
the animals.
Yeah, man. Like this dude, man. Like, that video that I put on. I did a video the other morning because I was vexed. But it's receipts. It's a video that the so-called white woman. She probably Jake. She got a video of clips of all these people, the Ted Bundy and the Columbine shooters, all these people.
Yeah.
The dude that supposedly grazed Donald Trump. You know, all these people that in these so-called white people that just murdered people. You know, just murdered people over there, and then you know, and it's being called out, man. It's being called out how they trying to do Jake. They trying to do our people like we the top in violence. We the most violent people on the planet. But and then you go in Jake neighborhoods and raid the building. But why aren't you raiding these middle-aged white boys? Why aren't you investigating them? Why ain't ICE in their neighborhoods going through their houses? Hey, that new bill 14321 executive order. They wrote that bill with us in mind. They didn't write that bill for the general public. They wrote that bill to oppress Jake. Hey, all his ways are grievous.
Yep.
You know, he does persecute the poor. Hey man, like they write these executive orders because they want to get at Jake, man. You know, but we warn Jake too, man. Hey, we warn our people too, man. Hey, the Lord is about to get with you niggas. All this pride and this arrogancy, and you know you want to be a fucking know-it-all. You think you know every goddamn thing. Hey, the Lord is gonna start hurting people, man.
Yep.
No, hey man, the Lord is not dealing with that pride, the pride of this place. The Lord is about to start hurting people on the spot, like you know, on this like real quick, man. Judgment is gonna start flowing real quick, man.
It's like I know brothers have been doing videos on it, and it was in the chat. Like you laughing, talking about judgment real quick. The guy, you know, pulled out a pistol and it turned ugly for him. You know, we just leave it there. You know, immediately, and we just say that the person, you know,
they took it down.
I tagged you.
Oh, did they?
I think they took it down. By the time I clicked on it, it was down.
Wow.
And see, and the person that it happened to was a man of the Lord. You know, so especially when the judgment coming down, because what people don't understand is that, like, we're, you know, hopefully those men, but we are like looked at as normal. You know, we out in, you know, we go to the grocery store, we go to the park, we may have our kids, you know, on our daily task, and then you may run into, bump into, or see and scoff or say things or have certain thoughts in your mind, and the Lord knows those things, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if like I said, he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
Yeah.
And so that's something that he's cherished and precious, because like the elder has mentioned, we're you know, sincere, you know, in our spirit to do this work, and we know that there's a prize to come. But ultimately, you know, we've been compelled and pushed to do this because we know that in the end, we're going to see nothing but righteousness. We're looking for the righteous kingdom to be ruled in righteousness, where all Israel will be saved, you know, in the end, and live good, feel good, you know, like you say when you said in there, one of your raps was like, you say you smile, you say you ain't gotta worry about the brother smiling and backbiting you or something like that. I'll pull it up. It's one of my favorite lines. Like, you hug Jake, you know, where you're out there to show love on Jake, you know. And so we want to be able to have that. And I remember growing up and having at least some little pockets of where you would see a brother and can throw your hand out and say, hey, and y'all would smile and wave, you know, and stuff like that. And you can tell now it's not that anymore. You barely want to hold the door. The women getting I know we're going somewhere else, but
it's just the spirit, bro.
Yeah, like you have this woman that was just, she held the door and the woman didn't say thank you, and it ended up with her, she getting mad at the woman for not saying thank you. They got to cussing each other out, and then ended up at that was at a Five Below or somewhere like that. But then they ended up at a PetSmart. The lady followed them there. They got to argue and go outside, and the woman had lost her life.
Yeah.
You know, because the woman didn't say thank you, and you started sparking up something with your daughter there. And so it's like little things like that, man. And we know that it goes back to what? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time. Because the first thing would have come to mind is, if all possible, live peaceably with all men. They didn't say thank you. Yeah, you eat that. We take the low and be like, all right, whatever. But just thinking of us being a man of the Lord. You know, somebody doing something like that for you, know, we'll be like, oh, okay. I ain't like that. I ain't feel like that. Then the Lord's feeling that too.
Yeah.
You know. So we just got to be careful in how we move out here, who we're dealing with, and like the elder, you've harped on it, you know, a lot as far as like you know, their spirits it's like ramping up.
Yeah,
you know,
especially man, like the other night, I'm coming from, you know, I wanted to grab me a little sip from the liquor store, and it's at night. I'm coming home, and there's some guy is tailing me with his bright lights on. I'm behind other people. I can't drive. I'm not gonna jump in the other lane and pass these people.
Right.
And even if I did that, you'd still be stuck behind them.
Right.
But so why you got your bright lights on? You see other people in front of me because these people got demons on them, man. You know, this whole thing with these so-called white people charging in Jake buildings, that's putting a spirit on these white people, man.
Yep.
Hey, we've been saying, the apostles been saying this, you know, and us brothers, we got it from them, and we've been saying that, hey, these devils, they about to show their horns, man.
Yep.
They about, hey, this dude tell me, then I made a left turn on a street where it's two lanes, and I try to get out the way, but a car turns in the lane that he was trying to pass me in. This dude get all the way on the shoulder, and almost ran me off the road, bro.
Wow.
Like, you know, I'm just driving. I'll let you go. You know, at this point, I'm not playing chicken with no nigga. I'll move over and let you go, which I try to do. But the dude, this motherfucker has so many demons on him that you know, then you go on the shoulder ends, you about to run me off the road. I just stopped and let him go.
Yeah.
But what happened? The light turns red. You still stuck. You still stuck right there with me. Now, if you was some YN nigga, you probably would have got out the car and put some holes in your ass.
Yeah.
You know, but it just show you. They just show you that the spirits are ramped up, bro. Like, that's why I like being out the way.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, man, the spirit that's on these devils is we ready to get Jake. They ready to get at us, man.
Yep.
You know, it ain't gonna be just false accusing. They just gonna start murdering Jake.
Yep.
You know, so like we gotta move circumspectly, man. Like we gotta watch, like, you know, like if you out at night, you know. So, hey, another thing, man, like the SNAP benefits are getting cut off. The crime rate is about to go up.
Yep.
Who's to save the woman that didn't shoot the other woman? I saw that story.
God.
You know, the black woman, the N-Dub, shot a woman. The woman opened the door for her, and then she said, "Oh, you ain't gonna say thank you." She probably was an older woman. That if somebody you know said like, "Damn, you ain't gonna say thank you," or open the door for you, and it's not a man doing it, it's a woman.
Yep.
You know, and usually like women, they good with that. Usually they be like, "Oh yeah, sister, my bad," but she actually shot this woman.
Yeah.
You know, for saying you're not gonna say thank you, but the scriptures say, "When I do is good, no to when I do is it."
Yep.
So you shall see twice the evil for all the good you've done. That lady got shot for opening the door for somebody, for the wrong person. You know. But that just show you that these spirits are ramped up right now.
Yeah.
Hey, no, somebody said something about Halloween, and Halloween is falling on a
Candle Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a Friday.
Yep. Yep. Hey man, like, but you know, we at the last end, and the further we get closer to the end of this, these spirits are gonna ramp up more and more, trying to capture us into some bullshit. So we gotta move, like, you know, hey, you driving on the highway, some fool behind you, riding, tailgating you. You know what I'm saying? Just chill, bro. Don't get all amped up with him. Let that demon go about his life. The Lord will deal with the rest.
Yep.
You know, but we can't be out here like, you know, jumping out getting tough because these people got guns out here.
Yep.
You know, but the spirit of this man is amped up and they ready to do violence to us, man.
Yep.
As a people, but hey, we told you so.
I'll bring this out real quick,
Go ahead.
and then we'll finish with yours. This is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
Yeah.
So so it's just the main point, because we know Yahweh Shai, we used to bring out Timothy all the time, and now, you know, we see Timothy, I think it's 3. It says we're in perilous times. It says perilous times shall come when men shall be lovers of their own self. Like that's going. I mean, we was bringing it out then, and we just seen it wrap up, and now we're like completely, into it. And so we're, are walking in the midst of all of this, right? The elect, the men of the Lord, the 144, the elect, or men of the 40, because some of the 144 may be in the spirit world now, but the main point I'm making is that you're walking. There's going to be some that's going to see this all the way through up until the chariots, like we said, that strangeness of salvation, and it's going to see. So it's going to only increase, and the drama is going to only build and increase until Yahushua said, like he said, when he returned, he said, what will I, if the fire had not already been kindled? Roughly paraphrasing, he may have said it wrong. But he said a fire will already be kindled on the earth. It's going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of things going on to the point where he's then going to come and intervene, and put an end to it all.
This is, just going back, this Jake, Kyren, Lacy committed suicide. I just want to, just for edification for the listeners. This is Wisdom Solomon 1:12. It says, seek not death in the era of your life. And see, this brother, he didn't have any error. He was innocent. Okay? It says, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. Okay? And the reason why this guy was being punished, just a couple chapters over, it says, so though they be punished in the sight of men, yet their hope is in immortality. Okay? So that's the thing. This is how you know that because he did that. Even though he is of the nation of Israel, he didn't have this truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it goes on to say, for Yahweh, verse 13, for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai made not death, neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living. Yeah. Who is that living? Okay. That starts all the way from Adam. With the breath of life, he became that living soul all the way through the line of Israel. You get that in Deuteronomy 32, 8 through 10. Okay? It goes straight through to us. Okay? Even though there's 2/3 of us that are slated to be cut off and die, he's talking to the elect, that living. Also that living, Ezekiel 37. So can these bones live? All right? Moves that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding back into him. All right.
And David, he also mentioned, he said, I'm young, now I'm old. He said, I'm not seeing the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. So we know that if we're doing righteously and doing the righteous works of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he's going to hold to his promise and his word. He is faithful, to those who are faithful unto him, So we hope that this lesson was edifying. Oh, Salaki, is y'all anything?
Strive for the truth to death, and he's going to fight for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting of some sort to the elect body of true believers of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Before we end, we'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Kakwadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. Until next time, all those listening and learning to you, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.